I'm Francisca Kakrafos and I'm watching Joy News today. The Controller and Accountant General's Department has transferred over 756,000 Ghana cedis to the 3 psychiatric hospitals in the country for payment of all salary arrears owed nurses in those hospitals. The hospitals include the Accra Psychiatric, Pantang Psychiatric and the Ankafo Psychiatric hospitals. This payment was made to about 133 nurses who form part of some nurses to be paid arrears. Currently, staff of the Ministry of Health and Controller and Accountant General's Department were told keen in the inputs for the payment of the rest of the salary arrears, as the system has been opened for this purpose. But spokesperson for the aggrieved psychiatric nurses, Emmanuel, says the members of the association have checked their accounts, but the monies have not reflected.
But officially, nothing has been communicated to us as we speak right now. But once they said the money has been released to the hospital, we hope that the disbursement will start as soon as possible. And when it hits our accounts, the group will meet, then we'll let the entire nation know. But as I speak to you right now, nothing has gotten into my pocket or the other's pocket. And even in the media, we heard that they quoted a certain figure, that is 133 in number. And this 133 to the 3 psychiatric hospitals, that is Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Pantang Psychiatric Hospital, and Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital. And even looking at our number here, we are numbering more than 100. So we're asking ourselves questions that if you're giving 133 to the entire psychiatric nurses, and even taking us out, if you take 100 out, you are left with 33. And my figures at Pantang tells me that they are more than 50. So if you take 100 out of Accra Psychiatry and it's left with 33, and they are more than 50. So it tells you that that number cannot even cater for Pantang, not to talk of Ankafo. So we want to wait, do our checks, ensure that the money is in our pockets. Then the group will meet. Then whatever decision that will come out, we'll let the entire nation know. We want to be sure that actually what we've been asking for and yearning for the past 2 months, everything is intact and has gotten to our account, and we'll let the entire nation know. We care a lot about our patients. We care a lot about our patients, so there's no way we want to neglect them. But in as much as we are doing so, at least what we've worked for is better that they pay us what we are due. So it's a good news coming in, but we want to wait and ensure that everything is paid into our accounts. Then we'll come out for the entire nation to know.
Still on mental health care, the head of the Kolebu Mental Health Care Unit has accused government of shirking its responsibility to provide free mental health care. This follows Accra Psychiatric Hospital's review of fees paid by patients. Dr. Samuel Henry was speaking on News Desk on the state of mental health care in Ghana.
In the last 2 years, as far as I'm aware, as I've been told by the administrators of the hospital, virtually no money whatsoever has been given to the hospital for any services, feeding patients, printing folders, or nothing, apart from the salaries of workers that are paid. They don't receive any subvention. They owe the suppliers of foodstuffs and such. So they were caught between a rock and a hard place. The only option left to them, really, the 2 options were either to close down the hospital or to institute some charges in order to keep services running. And so sometime, I believe it was late last year or early this year, they started charging some fees for new folders and things like that. A couple of months ago, they started charging for review visits, I think 10 cities or something. And yesterday we were informed that things had become so bad that they were compelled to increase the fee.
Dr. Samuel Dame also explained the impact of the move by the Accra Psychiatric Hospital is likely to have on patients and their families.
Clearly, the patients who come, they need some service. That is why and if they come, they can't get the service. Or even if they are seen by somebody and you prescribe medications which they cannot get in the hospital, then it's a problem. Unfortunately, for many of the medications also, it's difficult for them to get them even in pharmacies outside. The pharmacies don't stock them in general because they believe that the state provides them for free. So if you bring them in, you end up, with a spy drugged on your hands, and therefore they don't get them as an emergency, which makes them outrageously expensive to most patients.
You're watching Joy News today. We've got lots more stories coming up right after this break. Welcome back. Former local government minister Captain Afar Dottie is challenging the evidence supplied by journalist Anas Ayao Anas to back his accusation that some judges were bribed to throw cases in their favor. Lawyer Afar Dottie, who is also lawyer for Justice Gilbert Isi Ado, one of the judges implicated in the corruption scandal, spoke to Israelite on Joy News Prime yesterday.
You see, my client is the High Court Judge of Secondary, Mr. Justice Isi Ado. According to him, he was in his house when two visitors came there, a clerk of the High Court and a stranger he did not know. Now, when you read the transcript and when you watch the audio visual, you will see that there was no discussion about money, exchange of money, the handing over of money, the giving of money, and the receipt of nothing whatsoever was discussed like that. Indeed, at a point in time when the stranger indicated that he wanted to give the judge something for petrol, he told him to get out of his house. And he left and went upstairs to his bedroom. Now, these are the facts regarding Justice Isi Ado. So I do not see how they can say that he is involved in collecting bribe or receiving bribe. Now, the transcript and the audio visual says that they put the money under on his table, under a chair. But he was not made aware that they have put money on his table. And he's not the only one who has access to the hall. So, who did they give the money to? And did they really leave money there anyway? So basically, I do not see how any court of competent jurisdiction can convict Justice Isi Ado.
All right, now, Captain, your client submitted himself to the proceedings by the Chief Justice of the Judicial Committee. Did he make these things known to them?
Yes. Initially, the Chief Justice wrote to him that he should look at the transcript, he should look at the audio visual, and then he should make his response to enable the.
Now, John News is learning that the group Let My Vote Count is sending a petition to the United Nations against the government of Ghana for what they say are human rights violations. LMVC earlier went on demonstration over demands for a new voters register. The last attempt was foiled after the police secured an injunction which stopped the second protest. Now, convener of the group, David Asante, joins me on the telephone. David, so what are your plans? What are you going to the UN specifically for? Okay, I think, hello David, can you hear me? I don't think we have him on that line, but we'll move on to other stories. And some assembly members have called on government to urgently address the numerous challenges they face in their work and consider particularly the issue of paying their salaries. Speaking shortly after their induction into office, the assembly members intimated that the lack of money for projects and salaries is stifling work at the assemblies.
Looking at it, you can see that assembly members even work more even than the parliamentary candidates or the parliamentarians. So I think it should be best that assembly members should be paid.
It is very difficult if you want to even take them through education. It is so difficult. So that is why I really want to buy the core of the what at least the government, for that matter, AMA, must also ensure that assembly members are put on payroll. At least that can augment to also sell their messages and their actions in the electoral area.
As a leader, a lot of people come to you for support, and even after election, 3 days to election, see people coming in, give me this, give me that, school fees, a whole lot of things, thinking that as soon as you are voted into power, you are given huge sums of money by the government, as is done by the MPs. But assembly members are not given anything. It's a voluntary work, you see, but some of them don't know that.
So you believe the assembly members need to be supported?
Yes, definitely, they need to be supported.
When you look at the work, if someone is being paid, it's automatically going to devote his time and do everything well. But here is the case that whenever you are working, you have to leave your work and then go and assist some people in your community, So when it happens like that, it's two in one. And I think it's tiring. So I believe that if they are being paid, it's better.
I believe that personal interest and parochial interest by coming to assembly is a failure in a starter. Being a member, I believe when you work and work well, the work itself pays. Though we are not remunerated, we are not being given pay as members of parliament are fortunately having their pays. But we are working on the pipeline. By the grace of God, we hope by the time of this session, end of this session, we believe something good will come out of that. But if you are an assembly member, first of all, you should think of the people that voted for you. One way or the other, you made promises. One way or the other, you told them something. Based on that, you were trusted, you were believed, and you are here. So therefore, interest of yourself, thinking of yourself, as God says, we should put it aside. The area should become your paramount area. And I believe when you work and work well, you may be pointed, you may be cited, and the remuneration will come by itself. Where I'm coming from, when I became the assembly member, I took the area upon myself, I put the area upon my heart that I am going to work as if it's a company that belongs to me that I'm running. So anything didn't fit in the community. When I'm told, before I realized I'll just go by it and work. And I didn't work in isolation. I was working with a team of people, a team of the community. And everybody in the community is a member of our assembly.
Police in Accra region have arrested some criminals involved in the robbery of cars and other possessing Indian hemp. Now, the Accra Regional Police Commander wants vehicle owners to get tracking devices in their cars to enable the police track them when stolen. He said this after parading 10 criminals at the Regional Police Headquarters this morning.
In view of the increasing spate of car snatching within Accra Metropolis, the Regional Police Command intensified its operations to track down the perpetrators. On the 4th of October 2015, at about 2 a.m., 4 young men armed with a pump action gun broke into a house at New Botiano, a suburb of Accra. They are Jerry Dankwa, 25, he's a driver; David Asare, 26, shoe seller; Isaac Donko, Elias Kofi Nyatang Magu, age 27, he wears basket; and Dauda, who is presently at large. The 4 attacked the victim, subjected him to severe beatings, tied him with his own flying tie, and making away with the following items: 1 HP laptop computer, 1 iPad phone, 1 Samsung phone, set of jewelry, an amount of 600 Ghana cedis. Not satisfied with this, they demanded for the victim's ignition key to his Toyota Hilux pickup parked on the compound and drove it away together with their booty. With the help of a car tracking device, the police managed to intercept the vehicle at Chopoli barrier along Sugakope Road within about an hour as they head towards Togo. Police investigation revealed that one Dauda, the leader of the gang, offered his taxi cab registration number GE 8860-11 for the operation. He is the leader of the gang. Police investigation led to the retrieval of all the stolen items and then 600 Ghana cedis. Investigations are still ongoing, and arrested suspects shall soon be processed for court. Suspect Dauda is presently on the run, and police will get closer to him soon. The police is advising the general public to beware of recent activities of car snatching and try to procure car tracking devices to facilitate the swift and apprehension of these criminals.
Now, earlier we were talking about some new charges at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. My colleague Fred Smith has just returned from there and joins me in the studio. Fred, so tell us, give us an understanding of what this new charge is all about.
Well, under normal circumstances, mental health care is not supposed to be or to attract fees. But the hospital has taken this drastic measure just to save it from collapse or closure. They are saying that they're supposed to receive subvention from government. That has not been coming, and for the whole of this year, they've received 150,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, they spent over 300,000 in a month. So you can imagine what pressure is on them. So that
means that they've also got debts.
Yeah,
in order to run, they will have to borrow money.
Yeah, they have suppliers who have been bringing in detergents and food and others on credit who have to be paid. They've not been paid since the beginning of the year. And
do we have an idea of the estimation?
About 13 million Ghana cedis that they have to pay. But the new charges will not go towards the payment of this debt that they owe. It will go towards the continuous running of the facility until the debt is cleared. Their suppliers would agree to supply them again. So what was happening then was that patients who were already on admission were paying 10 Ghana cedis for consultation each day. What will happen now is that if you are already at the facility before the new fees took effect this morning, you are safe. You continue to pay your 10 cedis. If you're coming there,
from the new charges.
If you're coming there today, then that fee is going to jump from 10 cedis to 30 cedis. And
so if you're coming for, immediate services, will it be affected? If you're coming to be an inpatient, will you be affected?
Yeah, you'll be affected.
Okay, in both cases.
So it will go up from 10 cedis to 30 cedis. But if you're a fresh patient, you have to prepare a folder and a card, so your records will be put there. It's moving up from 25 Ghana cedis to 40 Ghana cedis. And so we met patients who had come in, didn't know that we were going to pay all of
How
those
did they
things.
react to all of that?
Well, some of them have money and have paid, but there are some who do not have the money. I met this woman who had come in last night. They actually slept at the facility because the woman, the patient was in critical condition. They slept there hoping that officials will come this morning to deal with their situation, but they came and said, well, they have to pay at least 70 cedis before a doctor sees her to find out what is really wrong with her. And they don't have the money, so they have to travel all the way back from American House. American House beyond Legon.
The 70 cedis, which is in addition to the new charges?
Well, the 70 cedis coming, that's the new charge that you are paying. Because previously...
Any idea what they were paying before?
25 Ghana cedis for the folder. Now it's gone to 40 Ghana cedis.
Whoa.
Then to see the doctor is moved from 10 Ghana cedis to 30 Ghana cedis. That makes 70 Ghana cedis just to see a doctor.
Looks like a 50 to 100% increment.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. But there are other things that you need. If you are aggressive or you have some condition that needs immediate attention, you need drugs. And the experience at that facility too is that people go and dump their families, their relatives there. And so there's a charge of 250 Ghana cedis, which will be deposited just in case the family members do not return. Okay. It will be used to take care of them.
Okay, but we understand that there were some passers-by who happened to get information as to what was happening in there and donated some money.
Yes, you remember at 10 o'clock we filed a report on what the situation was at the facility, and those who heard us drove by and made donations to these people. But I tell you, some gave about 100 cedis. They're very grateful, but it's still not enough to take care of them at all.
Okay.
And I overheard the nurses there, those who were on duty, complain that, well, many people who come there may not be able to afford, because when they did their calculation, if you came there with a certain ailment. I did not hear what ailment they talked about. Then you leave there, you would have paid 1,000 Ghana cedis by the time you leave the facility in just one day.
Okay, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Fred Smith, for the details. We're staying with the topic. Now, the Executive Director of Basic Needs, an NGO that focuses on mental health care delivery, says government has breached the law providing free mental health care and must, as a matter of urgency, correct the system. Peter Yaro Bedimark noted that the earlier this is done, the better it will be for the patients and the country.
The government has breached the law by not respecting the Mental Health Act, and the release equally seems to have ignored or flaunted the provisions of the law, and that needs to be looked at. Of course, the hospital has the right, as I think the Ghana Health Service provides, for internally generated funds, IGF they call it, but there should have been advance notice for people to get prepared. The government being the one responsible for the welfare, as the one being the custodian of all our rights and privileges and properties and whatever resources that is for the state that preside over and see to its distribution. We are referring to government because they are the largest, or they are the public sector service provider. So what is most likely is to see these people who are going to relapse, those who would not have services to a psychiatrist, probably now hitting the streets to demand their rights because they have a right to treatment. And as citizens, they are part and parcel of the population that needs to be taken care of.
This is Joy News Today. Let's take a break and bring you business when we come back. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has put up a new refrigerated terminal with a capacity to hold 800 20-footer equivalent unit containers. The facility is one-stop terminal for all refrigerated imported goods such as frozen foods and essential medicines. The refrigerated terminal is part of the GPHA's $2.5 million investment for Tema and Takoradi Ports 2020 port redevelopment agenda and has been fully automated to speeden the process and make them efficient for port users, as well replace the existing facility which has inadequate holding space for refrigerated imports. Managing Director of GCB Bank, Simon Donu, has downplayed the impact of the recently botched Eurobond issue by government. Now, government last week cancelled its intended 1.5 billion cedi 5-year domestic markets bond issue this month due to what the Ministry of Finance described only as recent market developments. Some market watchers have since expressed fear the development could be fatal for government's maturing debts and, by extension, a poor outlook for the local currency. But Mr. Donu tells Joy Business government could explore other avenues to address its financial challenges. That's all for business. That's it for joining us today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Francisca Kappa-Thompson. Thank you for your company.